Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Danny Corwin with Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, and welcome to our third national webinar in our series on excellence in skilled trades education. We're super excited to be with you this Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening, depending on where you are, to share something that we think is very unique and exciting. The content today in the webinar we are calling Mobile Training, Meeting Next Gen Skilled Trade Students Where They Are. And just excited that you've taken the time to meet with us. You saw a lot of happy photos from our prize celebrations over the last 6 years. And that's what our goal is to uplift skilled trades education in U.S. public high schools. We have been inspired by all the teachers that have come our way, and they have brilliant ideas that we want to share with a wider audience. So that is why we started this webinar series, and we think this concept of mobile training is one that could potentially have a big impact for you and your schools and your community. So we want to make this as interactive as possible today. So if you wouldn't mind, we'd love for you to share in the chat your name, the high school or whatever school that you work with, or organization, if you're with a nonprofit or a foundation or a city agency. We'd love to know who you are, where you work, and what city you are tuning in from, because we've got a great national audience. Already seeing some of our wonderful prize winners from around the country are joining us. So thanks again for being with us. For those of you in the South, I see someone just joined from Georgia. This webinar today is going to have a bit of a Louisiana flair to it. We've got two wonderful presenters that are going to be sharing their experience with mobile training in skilled trades education. Both who have worked deeply in the state of Louisiana. First is Adam Bourne. Adam is the president and also a teacher with the NOTEP, which is the New Orleans Education Project. Adam was a prize winner back in 2019, I believe, 2018. And just has been a wonderful contributor to our skilled trades teacher network that's been growing year after year. I had the chance to visit with Adam at his program last October, was blown away with what he's doing at a very modest facility. And the good news is, because of that good work and the impact he's having on young people, he's about to be moving into a brand new facility so he can expand his reach and make a bigger difference. We're also going to be joined by Dave Lefkowith. Lefty, as we call him, was the assistant superintendent in the Department of Education in Louisiana. We've had the pleasure of working with Lefty over the last 6 years at Harbor Freight Tools for Schools. He brings incredible experience and wisdom to the work, and also recently helped launch skilled trade summers programs that include mobile training here in Los Angeles. So we're excited about that. So I will now get out of the way and hand it off to these two experienced gentlemen. Please also feel free to include any questions you have as Adam and Lefty share their presentations, and we'll dedicate the final 20 minutes or so to answering your questions. Lefty, I'll pass it off to you.
Thank you very much. My name is Dave Lefkowith. Everybody does call me Lefty. I was privileged to serve for almost 8 years in the Louisiana Department of Education. I live here in Los Angeles, and I commuted for 8 years. Got a lot of frequent flyer miles. Our goal today is to present to you an overview of low-cost mobile training. And we'll be successful if during and after the webinar, we engage in a dialogue that helps you explore how mobile training might enhance the access students in your region have to high quality skilled trades education and training. When I was in Louisiana, serving in Louisiana, I was part of a dedicated team across the state that rebooted career and technical education, a program we call Jumpstart. 81% of the students in Louisiana didn't go on to complete a 4-year college degree after high school. So we had to do something that would meet these students where they were and to help them find their passion and complete high school programs that prepared them for employment and adult success. Now, there are a lot of school districts in Louisiana who were eager to offer high quality skilled trades programs, which was great because for the entire state, upgrading their skilled trades workforce was a statewide economic development imperative. But as everybody on this call knows, it's a heck of a lot more difficult to offer skilled trades courses than it is your run-of-the-mill academic course. It costs a lot more to offer welding program or electrician program than it does to teach an English or a history class. And in California, it's particularly difficult to find teachers who are experts in the skilled trades with the required teacher's license. So we had to come up with a low-cost way to expand skilled trades training programs, especially that were good at serving students in remote or under-resourced part of the states. Lucky for us, in Louisiana, I had come to know Adam Bourne. He's our next speaker. He's someone who I have come to know and admire. He lives and teaches in New Orleans, which after Hurricane Katrina was unique because it was an all-charter school district, school area. And these charter schools didn't have the scope, scale, or mission of helping students complete skilled trades programs. But they learned that there were a lot of great opportunities, life opportunities for these students who could get that skilled trades training and education. So along came Adam, and he came up with a training modality, mobile training, to help space-constrained, budget-limited schools offer high-quality skilled trades programs. Now, this isn't some giant tractor trailer pulling into a small parking lot back, somebody who requires a commercial driver's license, blocking all the traffic and basically finding it impossible to park in a neighborhood from a small school. This is Adam being really clever and coming up with a modality where all you need is the teacher, a pickup truck, and a trailer or a van. And the really clever solution is that you package all of the tools and all of the instructional resources you need to enable students to achieve great things. In Louisiana, Adam helps his students attain really prestigious credentials like, for example, NCCER. Now, through Adam's example and the example of other great educators, we last summer, for the first time, offered mobile training here in Southern California. It was an alpha program, 1 4-hour session for middle school students, hands-on learning, really great time. We proved that mobile training of this modality was possible, and we did a whole heck of a lot of things wrong. But we learned. And so this summer, we're looking forward to teaching several hundred students multi-session mobile training at both the middle school and the high school level, in the hope of, by next year, building up to being able to offer mobile training that offers the type of high-value, prestigious credentialing that Adam has been able to achieve with his students. That's what we're all about. I'm going to let Adam talk about his approach to mobile training, which is low cost and strategically nimble. And then when he's done, I'll come back with a few short comments on how you guys can take advantage of the work we're doing to transplant mobile training in where you live. Thanks, Adam. Good to see you.
All right. How exciting. Everybody's so Lefty's so experienced and Danny's so polished, and then I come on and this is probably where it goes off the rails a little bit. All right. But that's all right. I drank a lot of coffee to get hyped for this, but now I got to pee a little, so I won't talk too long. Okay. Let's jump in. I'm here in New Orleans. It is parade season right now. If you know anything about New Orleans, you know we get about 48 weeks of summer, 2 weeks of winter, and then 2 weeks of parade season. So that's kind of where we are right now. I can't see your faces, but I'm imagining you're laughing, you're enjoying yourself. All right, let's keep going. So I want to talk to you about our mobile unit here, okay? This is our mobile unit. And one thing that Lefty said that is certainly true is that it's not a huge thing, okay? It's not a big monster that you may see when community college comes to recruit. It's not that kind of thing. It's actually very, very different than that. It's a small unit, gets pulled behind a truck. So I'll walk you through some of it, tell you a little bit about it. you see the word NOTEP. One of the great things I did when I started this organization is give it a name that nobody ever pronounces right. It's NOTEP, New Orleans Technical Education Provider. That's why we shortened it to NOTEP. It's way too long. So I'm the director. I'm also one of the instructors here. And we teach carpentry, electric, HVAC, and we're adding machining, welding, and plumbing. So we got a lot of work to do here. Also, shameless plug real quick, go to our website, notep.net, apply for one of the new instructor positions. So go ahead and do that. Jump over now. All right, let's keep going. So we train students from open enrollment charter schools all over New Orleans. We are a charter school system. Every school here is a charter school, over 20 high schools in the city. But what's unique is that in addition to charter schools, we also serve a school that's in a prison. We also serve a lot of reentry students, so coming out of prison or re-entering back. We also serve adults, and so we have a very wide range of students. We range from, frankly, students that just got out of jail for serious crimes sometimes to valedictorian in an A-rated high school. And so we've got all different kinds of students here. 2 times this past year, we had incidents where guns were fired near campus. But then next year, we're moving to a huge state-of-the-art facility. It's tremendous. And so it really is sometimes here a tale of 2 cities, a lot of great things happening. And then sometimes a lot of really challenging things happening all at the same time. So that's kind of a little bit about where we are and some background. So let me get to mobile training. Why did we do this? Why did we jump into mobile training? So before we got here, and this was teed up for you a little bit, but skilled craft training at the high school level in the city of New Orleans was non-existent. It had disappeared some years before. It had begun to teeter, and then the nail in the coffin happened during Katrina, and it just hadn't really re-kicked here in the city. So we come onto the scene, that was around 2014. And we started mobile training because when I was getting started here, we heard something from schools a lot. And what I heard, so we have this central site, we're bringing kids to us. And what schools keep telling us is, I got all these kids on college track and we can't get them off campus long enough to get to you at a central site because they'll lose their pathway. They won't get enough credits here. They won't get the courses they need. So we can't send to you kids that are on college track. And then they said, we've got a lot of kids on credit recovery, and I can't get them to you either because they need to be on campus. They need to be taking classes. So now we can't get credit recovery. Now we can't get college track. And then they say, we've got a lot of kids on behavior plans, and we don't really trust to get them off campus because we don't know what's going to happen. And so I'm losing just about every student profile. And so what we end up with here is just a handful of students who, for one reason or another, just happen to be able to be eligible to get off site and come to training. But we knew that there were a whole lot more students that were interested in training. And so our solution to that problem, to getting access to all those groups of students that weren't able to come to central site, was the mobile unit. So here's what we do with it. We teach full trade courses with it. We've been teaching NCCER Core, NCCER Carpentry 1. We do some recruiting with it. So that's kind of the big way that this thing gets used. It takes the training to the student. The reason we started the mobile unit is because it increases access. With it, we get all the kids. We get the college track kids. We get the kids that are totally off track. We get everything in between because it's cheap and it's convenient. And that's what schools need. They need scheduling to be easy. They need cost to be low. And the mobile unit helps us achieve that. The big idea is that anyone who's interested in skilled crafts gets to access, and that's what this allows us to do. So you're going to see in a minute how it's cheap. A lot of times these mobile units, you think of anything but cheap when you think of these mobile units because you're seeing big trucks and big trailers and welding outfits and lots of things that are coming. But ours is much smaller than that. And again, you'll see it. But it's meant to look more like a job site trailer. Any job site you go to has got a trailer that looks about like this one. And people are taking tools out of it, rolling out, getting to work. At the end of the day, rolling everything back up. So it's not a big traveling maker space with a plywood sander and a planer and all those kind of things. It's meant to function like a job site trailer. Teach construction skills to kids. to help expose them to the industry and then help them get an entry-level job. So that's what this trailer is designed to do. It's not doing a whole lot of things that may happen in a small makerspace shop. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a video. It's going to kind of tour you through the trailer, kind of give you some of the layout of it, kind of help you envision what we're talking about here. So here's the mobile unit. I'm just going to walk you through it and kind of show you the details in here. So first, this is the instructor table. You see it's got wheels, and underneath here you can see the slide. It just rolls out. It's a ramp, and then this thing just rolls right out. This miter saw is battery powered, and it's mounted to the table there. Underneath the table, you have 6 bags, and those 6 bags are all they have student supplies in them. So I'll get one of these bags and I'll show you what's in here. So in this bag, you can see a battery-powered saw, a battery-powered drill, 2 speed squares. See the other speed square there. 2 tape measures. You see one there. 2 hammers. Okay, and so every bag has that in it. And so the idea is, and I'm going to step back out here. Apologies if you're getting dizzy. So we've got tables. These are 11 tables. There are 12 of them. One of them's being used. But the idea is every student pulls out their own table, and so you got a table, a bag, and a table, and so that bag can serve 2 students. They'll share a drill and they'll share a saw, but then they've got their own set of hand tools and their own work table. So coming on in again, up here you just got a few things on the wall. You got some framing squares, and you've got these. You've got some stair gauges there, which students were, the reason that there's some tags on bags and things is we kind of ramped this thing up for a big project that we had. Students were laying out stair stringers, so we got some new stuff. And, but anyway, that's why we've got all these right here. You see a jigsaw in the back, and then some other tools up here on the wall. You see all the clamps that get used just get popped back right there. So it's nice and easy. You got a little C-clamp and some other clamps there. Back here in that bag is a battery-powered framing nail gun. And then down here is a ladder that's got a couple hooks that holds it in place during transit. Down here you've got all of our clipboards. Every time a student comes into the shop, they have a cut sheet. They put it in their clipboard. They keep it at their station. In this box, you've got a few hard hats. Some of the stuff is being used right now. You got a few hard hats. You have some safety harnesses for that kind of training. Something else goes in here too. It's it's weights for the tent. So we also have a little tent that we use, and the tent usually actually sits right there. And so it's like a little pop-up tent just for a little shade during training. Up here, you've got safety glasses. Again, we got all new safety glasses here. And then a pack of gloves. And then we have a few things that like students may use just once or twice. Chisels, you got a new chalk line there. Fasteners go in there. We got a couple other things for fasteners there. We got a whole brand new box of pencils there. And then more space for fasteners. You can never have enough space for fasteners. In fact, we'll probably run out pretty soon. Every time the trailer gets stocked, pretty soon we're out again, and we're stacking them in different places. And then we need a little box for like instructor supplies. You got some, I can't even see what all you got in there. You got some Sharpies, you got some bungees, you got some blades for a little jigsaw. And one additional thing in here is this. This is the instructor's bag, and it's obviously got all the chargers in it, and they're all plugged into a power strip. And so all you got to do is just plug the power strip into the wall. You don't have to plug the whole bag in. So that's kind of how it works. You'll notice that it's not super full in here because the idea is everything rolls out, and it's really meant for students to grab their stuff and get out of here. And so there we go. That's it. Cool. Yeah, I just really wanted you to get an idea of what we're talking about. You can see, and it was freshly stocked air, and it doesn't always look quite so clean, and always keep it safe, but sometimes there's a lot more equipment in there, a lot more sawdust in those bags and that kind of thing. But that is generally what it looks like when you go to training. Now, if they're going to do something unique, like in the intro class, they're going to weld, we may stick a few welders in there. And that's what's really nice is you can kind of flex with this thing, add a few things in, take a few things out, in addition to the things that typically stay in there. A couple things I want you to see. You saw the battery powered nailer. Everything's battery powered in there. This thing doesn't need power. And so you don't have to take it somewhere where you're going to be close to the building. It allows it to kind of stretch and go anywhere, right? All the instructor's got to do is plug things in at the end of the day. All we really need, especially if we're going to run a full course somewhere, is we just need a small area to store materials. And, it's just lumber, typically a 10 by 12 section, usually one parking spot will do it. And there's nothing unsightly there, nothing dangerous there, just a few boards that are stacked neatly and covered with a tarp. And so we can have very, very minimal, almost no footprint at the site, and yet run full level 1 training that's going to replicate working on the job site. And so that's kind of the big idea. I'm going to flash through a couple of pictures just so you can see just sort of what it looks like when everything's set up. And this is in our parking lot at the central site, but this is what it looks like when we take it out the sites as well. So you can kind of see this picture here, and this is one of our instructors, and there you see the tables. Everybody gets a table, and then you see the bag there in the middle, so they work on their projects there. These kind of function as sawhorses for them, or tables, depending on what they're doing. Just another shot, kind of similar there, close up of the instructor table. And then just some shots of the trailer, one just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. Let's see, let's keep rolling here. And that's kind of, I just wanted you to see what they're building. So when we do these mobile sites, this is the kind of thing that people that are on site are going to see. That's what's going to be left there. So just a little mini house, 2 windows, a door, frame top, and then we'll skin it out with siding, windows, and that kind of thing. And you can see how that's pretty cool, right? A lot of the stuff, if you're a skilled crafts teacher, a lot of stuff you build is in your shop. Unless somebody comes in there, nobody ever sees it. Nobody sees the cool stuff that people are working on. But one of the great things about this is the administrators see it, the parents see it, the other students see it. And when they see that thing coming together, because it's mobile training allows it to get out there where everybody can see it, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting, the idea that kids came and built that. And as it gets windows and doors and that kind of thing, excitement kind of builds. And you get kids asking to join that class, because that seems a lot better than looking out the window at it for math or something like that. A couple things to note, just I want to highlight for you. I talked a little bit about material storage. So, you do need a little bit of space on site for some material storage, but mostly everything's living in the trailer. And you'll notice this is not big. That's a truck. It's not like a huge monster truck. We have one guy has a little mid-sized truck. He pulls it with that. And so you can really pull this with anything other than the instructor table. All of this could go in a van. You see things like this on job sites. You see vans on job sites. So you could really do it with that, and then somebody doesn't even need a truck. And so you can, the thing I like about it is this whole model is really flexible. You can get a van, you can get a trailer, but nothing's got to be big. It's all really accessible. All you need is a good instructor in a parking lot. You'll notice, I think it looks kind of cool. We skin the outside of it to make it look cool. If you got to sell something to your administrator, or for us, we got to sell it to schools, you need it to look nice. You got to think about marketing a little bit. And we also didn't want kids huddled around a creeper white van with no windows. And so that's also not good marketing. And so, yeah, we really wanted to look nice. We wanted, from the moment you saw this thing out in the parking lot, we wanted the trainee to get pretty excited about it. And look, when I go meet with the school to talk about it, sometimes I hook it up to the truck just because I want to pull up with it. We're not even going to look at it. but I want to pull up and I want them to see that it looks good. You know, it looks really cool. And so, you know, we spent a little bit of money on skinning that thing out, but I think it was well worth it, and kind of selling the idea. You can get an idea of our cost. This was pre-pandemic. We put this thing together. And so at least we bought some of the materials, like the trailer was bought before the pandemic. So some of the stuff, what I'm getting at is inflation may make it go up some, but regardless, anybody who's ever priced one of these knows, I mean, the idea that you could run a mobile unit for under $10,000 is not something anybody would think. But these are our real numbers. I mean, this is everything that we spent on this to get everything that you saw in there, and we run full level 1 training. And so, so it's affordable, you know, and if you're facing the same dilemma that we were, where kids aren't getting to you, it's a pretty good solution for that kind of thing. Couple things, and then I'll turn it over. We'll do a couple other things. Anybody can drive it. You don't need a CDL. Obviously, that's a big deal. You don't need $1 million budget. You can run it with a truck. You can switch to a van. Just highlighting some of the things I talked about, so you hear them over and over. It's customizable. You know, we have this thing. Sometimes we take this mobile unit. Sometimes we take everything in that mobile unit, put it in a rolling cart, and it gets stored at the facility, and we don't even take this trailer. We just have a rolling cart there at the facility. So, you know, this trailer is one way that we get mobile training, but sometimes it's with something like that. We just got a closet and we're rolling everything out. And the idea is not so much that the trailer is where it's at. The idea is that it's a model that is mobile, that we can sort of get it anywhere quickly and effectively and affordably. So that's kind of the big idea. The idea is access, right? We were creating a model to get access to all the students so they can get access to training, right? Everybody across the board, not just some kids who are able to, through some set of circumstances, get over to us. That's the big idea. So that's all I got. I think we're going to have some time at the end for you to ask some questions. And so I'm going to pitch back. I think I'm pitching back to my assistant, Danny. So I'll throw that in there for kicks. And so you guys ask me some questions in a minute.
Excellent. Thank you, Adam. Just fantastic stuff. Love the fact that you took us inside the trailer like we were there with you in New Orleans. We have one more testimonial that we wanted to share. One of the beautiful aspects of the prize and building this community of teachers is we try to take ideas from all over the country that we think can help teachers and schools and kids and share and replicate and hope that it ripples. So based on Adam's experience and Lefty, we decided to fund some summer programs in Los Angeles County over the last 2 years. And one of those participants is a teacher named Brent Tuttle, who's a welding teacher at La Mirada High School. And Brent operated this summer program last July and is going to share just a short video about his experience.
So, you know, I've been teaching welding for 22 years, and this was the first summer I've actually worked. Normally I take my summers off. When I was offered this grant by Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, you know, we jumped on it, and I was kind of leery. I've never worked during the summer, didn't know if I was going to get burned out. Never worked with middle school kids. And you know what? These kids really surprised me. And we had 50 middle school students come here and be part of two unique programs. One where we had students here for 2 weeks, but then we also had a mobile training session for students to experience a 8-hour, 1-day build a project. Truck pulls up, unloaded a bunch of tools. Students built the toolbox. And then at the end, they filled the toolbox with tools that were sponsored and given out. And after seeing that, you know, we just thought that was such a great idea. And now we're looking to kind of improve on it and take it to the next step. So this summer, what we're planning on is bring in some academic teachers. We're going to bring in a math teacher and an English teacher to help with some skills that the students may need, especially in the math side for construction. These kids are going to learn math by doing welding, carpentry, and solar, not sitting in the classroom doing math, and make it fun for them to learn math. Another skills trade summer program is going to implement it into their gang reduction, which I'm kind of fascinated to learn about, because I think that's a good opportunity to maybe get these kids off the street and put tools in their hands. The reason the summer program I think works well is because you're getting the kids for a 6 to 8 hour period versus an hour here and there. And these kids are excited during the summer. It's something new for them. And it's almost like a camp. Our target audience is going to be middle school students, because this is going to be their first time, maybe even touching a power tool. And we want to get them excited about joining the career trades, have a chance to explore and look at that. So this year, we're going to add more students and more mobile training to the program. And we're also going to have second-year kids here. So if they were in their 8th grade summer last year, now they're going to be in their 9th grade summer. We're going to have them for the second time during the summer. We're going to design a fire pit for second-year students this year, and the first-year students will end up doing the barbecue again. We're going to really kind of come up with a project that deals with solar, welding. Last summer, we had a great time working with middle school students, and this year we're really looking forward to it. Mobile training was a really good fit for us. And if you think it's something that you're interested into, check it out. If you're a career tech teacher out there, or a construction teacher, welding teacher, I highly recommend you guys doing mobile training.
All righty, I'm going to invite Lefty and Adam back for our little Q&A panel. And Lefty, you've answered a lot of the questions that have come through the chat, so thanks for being quick on the trigger there. And I would just share with the broader group, and I'm sure Lefty will reinforce this, at Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, we want to share the incredible resources that our teachers are producing, and we're working on ways to do that. In terms of the grants, it really comes from our annual Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Prize for Teaching Excellence, which will be rolling out again next month. Very excited about that. The grant that Brent talked about at La Mirada High School was specific to a project that we launched here in Los Angeles County. And who knows what the future holds. I mean, we think this is a valuable idea, and just are excited to share some of the concepts with you. So I jotted down a few questions from the group.
Before we move forward, Danny,
Yeah.
I have a couple of comments that I'd like to make before we go to the Q&A. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
I've worked now many years with Adam, and if people reach out to Adam Bourne, he will give you a helpful and prompt response. Adam's a good guy and has a great heart, and is willing to help people who are seeking support in taking some of the concepts that he's pioneered and moving forward with them. Similarly, I'm making myself available. This is something where I'm blessed to be able to work with Harbor Freight Tools for Schools in an area that we all feel so passionate about, maximizing public school student access to high quality skilled trades education and training. If you have a similar interest, and if there's a way that I can help you think through your issues or help develop a program, or however it is I might be of help, you can contact me, lefty@canyongrp.com or 310-710-3520. I'll put those in the chat. But we're looking to help, and we're available to help in any way we can, anybody who seeks that help. So Danny, that's just what I wanted to do, make that offer. It's a sincere offer, and it's one that we hope people take advantage of.
That's great. Thank you, Lefty. So let's just jump in on some of these questions. Adam, you could probably see them rolling in. I mean, I think the last one that I noted was just around, the length of the training. Lefty, you shared in the chat some of the things that you're designing now. But Adam, as you probably have access to students for longer periods of time, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we do a lot of different things with it. Obviously, what we're going to do this summer in LA is very different than what we typically do with it here. So you can do a lot of different things with it. What we are primarily doing with it is we're teaching the introductory level course through the first year. And so we take the trailer 2 days a week to the site, and kids work in the shop 2 days a week. And then the other 3 days a week, the instructor goes without the trailer. They're in a classroom and they're doing the classroom credentialing piece. And so he may go 3 days, he may go 2 days, but the trailer is going to be there 2 days a week, and that class lasts the whole year. And they get NCCER core and NCCER level 1. If they want to do level 2, then they got to come to Central Site. We don't facilitate that through the trailer, but yeah, that course lasts the fall semester and the spring semester. That's what we typically do with it.
And Adam's a little bit ahead of us. Here in Los Angeles County, we did an alpha program last year, which was 1 4-hour session for middle school students. This summer, we're going to have 2 tracks. We're going to have a 3 session, each 4 hours for middle school students, where they're not only going to do the toolbox, but they're going to build a lamp, and they're going to do virtual welding using sort of gamified virtual technology. We're going to have them learn a bunch of skills in terms of solar arrays, and they're going to use an engine cutaway to learn a little bit about auto tech. That's going to be the middle school program. We also have a much more ambitious high school program where they'll do the hands-on work, but also a bunch of employability soft skills work over the course of 60 hours. And we think either a week of intensive camp scheduling or maybe over 5 or 6 weeks of partial, 2 days a week scheduling. We're figuring out those details. We're going to be uploading all of the resources we're going to use as instructional resources to a central online repository that I think we're just going to make available to anybody who wants to take a gander at those materials. And we'll be doing that. We're at least a couple of weeks away. I'm going to guess maybe March. We'll get to that in March.
Thanks, Lefties. Adam, Rich Johnson, who also attended La Mirada High School, where the home of Brent, Tuttle, asked about safety, in particular the circular saw. Maybe talk to us about some of those safety provisions and education that you do with your students.
Sure. I'll say very basically, you can't use any power tool unless you're 14. So you got to be 14 years old. And then we start the first 2 weeks, you're not using any power tools. We sort of go through, there are 4 classes you go through, use hand tools, and we do some safety training. And then after that, every time that a student uses, so basically we'll put 2 circular saws in the circulation, and then they'll begin to use those only when an instructor is there. And we'll do that for about another month. And then it depends on how many shop days, but somewhere around a month. And in every power tool, every kid will have to sort of pass a very simple demonstration. You got to do it in front of the instructor checks. And then just like you would run your high school classes, those kids have the opportunity to use power tools, but we make sure that you get trained, you get the safety training, you get trained on the tool, you get observed before you sort of get released to use it. And that's a little bit of a process.
Adam, I'd love to stay on the topic of students for a second. After being a classroom teacher and then operating this mobile program, can you just share with the group kind of the difference in the reaction from your kids having the opportunity to be out of the traditional classroom and do something new and different? What did you see in their transformation in this different type of modality?
Yeah, I'll say that, I'll speak to it from this way. Kids that come and train to us at Central Site versus kids that get to use mobile training. There's a difference there, which I really was kind of surprised for. Their kids are really excited to, that unit comes out and they're excited to get out there and build something that everybody's going to see. You see them sort of looping back around to bring somebody with them to say, I built that. And they're sort of, and so there's a level of excitement because people are seeing them. And so that's been a real unique piece of doing mobile training is they love the idea that I thought they would be nervous, to build in a place where people can see them, where they're sort of like people can look out the windows or people are going to come by. But no, that's what they love. They love every time they're in the shop, they're trying to wave at somebody and, that's in the building, or they want to show somebody what they're doing. And so there's a lot of excitement to be working on the mobile unit and out in a space where everybody can see them. So even as compared to coming to central site, there's a level of excitement that's a little bit higher.
Okay, the questions are rolling in, which is awesome. I did want to share that we've got everyone's email address that registered for the webinar, so we will get back to all of the questions in the next week. So don't worry if we don't get to your question. Lefty, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, there's one really good question by Brian Ainley. How many students are in each class? And may I just handle that briefly about what we're going to try this summer?
Yeah, great.
We're looking at middle school mobile training cohorts of 10 students, and high school much more demanding of also 10 students. Adam, how many students are you but there's going to be one exception I want to talk about. How many students are you handling in a cohort, Adam?
12 is max size for that training.
All right, and one of the tests that we're taking this summer is we're integrating the middle school mobile training with remedial math, a remedial math program. And there we're going to be having 5 teachers, 2 academic subject teachers, 3 skilled trade teachers for 18 students. We may cheat and actually go a little bit above that. So we're trying to keep a very tight student to teacher ratio. Now, having said that, we're sort of over hiring teachers this summer. We're going to be hiring more teachers than one would strictly need because we're trying to create, frankly, seed corn. We're trying to create teachers who find this modality empowering and energizing and helpful to students, and then maybe use them to help expand the scale and the scope of the program in future years. Thank you, Danny.
Sure. Adam, there was a question about insurance for the vehicle or any other costs that may not have been reflected in your 10K or less budget. And can you talk to any of that?
Sure. So we did have to deal with basically the instructor. It's kind of just a little nuanced piece, but the instructor can pull the trailer with their own vehicle, and anything that you pull with your vehicle is covered by your vehicle insurance. So you can pull a trailer and that gets covered should you be in an accident or that kind of thing. And of course we have insurance on the trailer and its contents. But so there was no extra money there other than, yes, we pay for insurance on the trailer, but we don't have to. That's not required. But the one thing that we did hear from our insurance agent is when the instructor pulls up, they need to unhook from the trailer before students access it. So that's just kind of a funny little extra piece that helps everybody. That way, now it's covered by the school's insurance. And all we do is the school adds us as an additional insured, which costs $100. They add us as an additional insured on their policy, costs $100, and that's it. So it's really not a huge expense. It's just some process that has to happen.
Right. And for those of you who don't speak Louisiana, because I commuted there 7-8 years, insurance is like insurance, sort of same thing.
Oh, I see. So you're making fun of me.
I'm making a little bit of fun of you. Yes, I am.
All right.
We had a question from Robert Church about criteria to participate. Lefty, I know with the middle schoolers, it's minimal. Adam, for your more comprehensive, longer term programs, anything you guys look at or require?
I think that's a really smart question. And the answer is the criteria are going to vary depending on the specific objectives of the entity implementing that thread of mobile training. For many of the schools that we're working with, they are using mobile training at the middle school level as a way to build a pipeline of students potentially interested in the high school high school skilled trades training pathways. So they're going to go out and they're going to actually ask teachers which of their students might be most likely to be interested in this. And they're going to, I think, hand select those students who they think might be great candidates for enrolling in their programs moving forward. In Glendale, we're working with the students who are going to be in the remedial math program. And so we're selecting those students and trying to get them fired up about the relevance of what they might be learning in class to something they may enjoy doing with their hands. And then, as Brent said in the video, we're working with a community group to integrate mobile training with skilled trades training with gang reduction programs. And so we're trying to find a way to bring relevance to some of those materials as well. So, and then in the high school programs, we're going to be working with kids who are thinking about going out in the world and starting their adult life, and this will prepare them for attaining entry-level jobs and to prepare them for adult success. So a lot of different things going on with a lot of different entities testing this modality.
Same. I wouldn't add to that. Yeah, exactly right.
I think since we're approaching dinner time, or we're already there on the East Coast, I just wanted to give each of you a minute for any closing comments, and then we'll wrap things up. Lefty, why don't we go back to you? Any final thoughts?
Adam is a great guy, so if you contact him, you'll get a great answer. We will, Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, provide any support that we can for you. We'll respond quickly and we'll be as helpful as we can. We're going to have these online resources stood up and available in, I don't know, maybe a month. Please don't hesitate. If anything here struck a resonant note with you, reach out to us and we'll help make it a symphony.
Yeah, I don't want to be the only one getting compliments. I wish I'd come up with an insult for you, since I know you're going to come at me though. But Lefty's pretty great too. Yeah, you know, a lot of the work that he did here in the state of Louisiana, we benefit from tremendously, specifically the stuff that he had his hands on. So I'm sure he'll give you some good information too. I know you're trying to pitch all the responses to me, so I'll respond, right? But you know, go to him too, all right? But no, yeah, anything that I can, you know, much like all of you guys, I'm not loaded with time to give you, you know, everybody a conversation, but I will share with you anything that we have, you know, anything that we've got, I'm more than happy to share it with you. And maybe, you know, if we can work out a time where you dig into it and you say, I really want to know more. Yeah, then I'm happy to do that. We'll get that on the schedule.
And I have the time. Adam does not have, he has a young family and he has a business. So I got the time. I'm an old guy and, you know, I got the time. And so really, you shouldn't hesitate to reach out. We will help you. We will.
Excellent. So a couple final reminders. The 2023 prize for teaching excellence, look for that to open up in mid-March. Very excited about this upcoming year. And we're going to do one more webinar before the end of the school year. Also a topic that we think will be relevant for the skilled trades education community, which is on transforming your skilled trades classroom into a business enterprise. We've seen a lot of great success across the country, deeply engaging students on that topic. So that will be on April 25th, about same time, same channel. So we'll send information out about that. And then lastly, you're going to receive a short survey as you close down this webinar with a couple questions to help us do a better job of providing content that's relevant to your work, and to give us that feedback. So if you wouldn't mind taking a minute to complete that, we'll try to get better at what we do here at Harbor Freight Tools for Schools. So once again, huge thank you to Lefty and to Adam and to all of you for joining us. And we look forward to being in touch soon. Take care.